Hey everybody, welcome to Guys Edit Podcast. That will be the name for now. I'm Nick.
I am George.
How's it going, George?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. A little wet from the rain.
Yeah,
but
it's a weird drizzle outside.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
it was
It's also cold for July.
yeah, cold, super cold for July.
Yeah.
It was like 13 on the South Shore. I was like, what is this? I had to wear my jacket. I was like, this is awful. Like yesterday was like a lot warmer, and even the day before was super warm.
I know. It's one of those things in Montreal, especially. We enjoy the summer so much just because it's actually shorts
Yeah.
weather, t-shirts.
I
You're
know.
fine. I walk outside today in my usual summer gear, and I'm just shivering. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And we're here at WeWork in Montreal. It's a pretty amazing spot.
Yeah, I know.
And like these spaces, we're in this nice little room here, as you can see. For the people who are watching online on the channel that I haven't created yet, but I'll do that
But
soon.
we shortly created.
Yeah, it's gonna be very,
Yeah.
very, very.
And you're watching right now, so thank you to the viewers watching.
everyone who's watching.
I know.
Mostly,
It's exciting.
yeah, it's exciting. It's cool. It's I haven't seen much except for like Griffin. I don't know if you know Griffin from Indie Mogul back in the day.
Oh, I don't actually.
No, he has a thing like that too, but he talks with another sound editor sort of type of thing. I mean, it's amazing too. They're just it's a really great podcast actually. It's one of my favorite podcasts to watch sometimes, and they're very long, but it's they really dive in. But today we're gonna talk about Baby Driver. You went and saw it?
Yeah,
huh?
I did see it.
What'd
And
you
you
think?
haven't seen
I
it.
haven't seen it,
which-
but I don't mind spoilers. I don't
It's
care.
weird though because
But I've seen
there's
the
so many
trailers.
parts. Yeah, the trailer itself. So I actually did a bit of research before I went because that's what convinced me to go.
Nice.
So on Premier Beat, they had this article about how the editor Paul Mackless, I think is his
Paul
name.
Mackless, yeah.
Basically, he was editing on the fly the entire shoot.
Right.
Yeah, they
That's
actually.
the special thing about
yeah,
it.
they built a cart for him to be able to go onto set because obviously there's so many chase scenes going
Right.
on all the
Yeah,
time.
that's what- yeah.
So they would be at the side of the road, and because how the film is structured, they lined everything up with music because with the character Baby. Who is the title character? He actually has this illness that he hears a hum constantly, and to drown out that hum, he always listens to music. That's why in the trailers he always has an iPod.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What's that all about? That's
So
it. Nice.
everything is tuned for him. It's almost a musical in a way, but it's not. It's everything's choreographed perfectly though.
Wow.
And they were like in this article on Premier Beat, they were talking about how they tried to line things up pretty well, but it wasn't that it needed to build up to it. It was just
Right.
the action would fall on things. So when I went to watch it, the first 5 minutes I was just staring, and everything worked perfectly. It was seamless. There was like you just hear each beat and something would happen. Like just the choreography of the scenes was incredible. So that's why they actually needed Paul to be on set because they would actually get him to like see the footage, and then Edgar would be like, "Okay, is this all good?" And
he's
Paul-
like,
"Yeah."
done.
Just, yeah.
He's just chopping. He's like, yep, here it is.
Because if they didn't do that, they were talking how like 6 months from now,
Oh
they
my
would be
gosh.
on the cutting room floor, and be like, "We can't
yeah,
actually
we can't
do this."
remember anymore. Like, what's the energy level?
Well, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even that. It's just like if they won a second or two over, they were done.
then it's done,
because
yeah.
they weren't using original music. It was all commercial based.
Yeah, all commercial mix. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
saw it's almost quasi theatrical, quasi musical,
Yeah.
but in the theater aspect, like in the movie
Yeah.
theater aspect, it's crazy.
It was
so,
the movie just blended so many different genres together,
that's so.
and I
amazing.
loved it. It was weird because I came in really much focused as an editor, understanding it, and then I remember I think it was like an hour in, there was a moment that I actually almost cried a little bit,
Wow.
and I realized I just got sucked into this world.
Yeah.
It was just incredible
Those
filmmaking.
types of films, that's what it seemed like. Even when I watched the trailer, it wasn't even cut the way like usual trailers are, especially summer blockbusters. Like just watching, I was like, I have to see this. I haven't said that since like The Dark Knight, right? Since The Dark Knight, you know, like 9-10 years
Yeah.
ago. Like, and when I saw that in the theaters, it was like like you said, you're immersed in this world. You don't even realize when you got immersed. That's the
Yeah.
best type of thing. When you realize it just seamlessly goes
Yeah.
goes
It was
in.
interesting because I wanted to be a bystander just to
Right.
appreciate it for the art of edit, and then all of a sudden I'm just part of the story.
Yeah, it's
in a
like
way.
all choreographed. Like
Yeah.
even in the trailer, you can see the meticulous choreography in all of it, and like the soundtrack is incredible. Like there's over.
Yeah.
I've never seen a soundtrack list like this. Has over 71 songs were used in the whole movie. That's insane. I've never seen 71 songs in a film like that.
Yeah.
In an action film, constantly, it's almost like it's really just the whole entire.
Yeah, it's almost taking like
constant
Guardians
music.
of the Galaxy was close with that
Yeah, I can imagine.
because obviously they used the tape, like the mixtape.
Yeah, the mixtape thing, right? They
Yeah,
relied
that
on
Star
the
Lord's
mixtape
mom
yeah.
had made.
Exactly.
But
But
this
like-
was at a whole different level.
But it's nonstop.
Yeah.
Like they have everything.
Yeah,
under
again, because baby literally has iPod
Yeah. So
earphones in constantly, so you're just hearing what he's hearing.
That's
almost.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's like they have Queen in it, Run the Jewels, Golden Earring, REM, Barry White,
Yeah.
like that's when you realize like the core Simon and Garfunkel, like it's crazy. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go see it as soon as I can.
You
'cause
should.
and I'm gonna like just cut it apart and enjoy it
Yeah.
as well at the same time. That's amazing. Yeah, Baby Driver. Geez, it just seems like it's one of those fresh, new type of ways of making the summer blockbuster
Yeah.
that I hope they don't
kill,
kill
I
and
know.
recycle it.
It really reminds me somewhat of Green Room in a way, where it's
Green Room is so good.
I know. It just. I think it's that indie blockbuster.
Yeah,
That's that
indie
feel.
blockbusters. It is. It's totally indie blockbuster.
Yeah.
It was under the radar. Didn't get much trailer views on YouTube and stuff like that. So, but it was like one of those films that they just did quickly,
Yeah.
but with great cast, great script. That's it. But I think I hope they don't do a sequel. It's one of those things I think that they should keep. I don't know how the ending is, so I don't know if it's sequelable.
Yeah.
But I like when something's just like here it is. Enjoy it for what it is. Let it just age.
I agree.
Already.
I'm trying to think what sequels have been coming out.
no.
It's just been a slog of sequels.
Just
And- yeah.
nonstop. There's like, I don't even want to see the sequel sometimes, except for like Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently, the second one's
It was okay.
okay, but like
I thought it was overhyped.
really,
Yeah.
I didn't notice the hype too much because I wasn't paying attention too much. But like, what's
Well,
one that was
yeah.
overhyped?
I know. This is where one movie that apparently is very hyped is the new Spider-Man. I haven't seen it yet,
Right.
but apparently it's
Spider-Man.
incredible.
Yeah, I've heard it's okay
So,
too. I heard
yeah.
it's like a rekindling of like the first one, ever that was like that kind of started off almost everything.
Yeah.
Homecoming, right?
Yeah,
I
Homecoming.
wanted to go see that. I want to see how that goes too.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones in between, like, are just like, it's like they put all the Spider-Man stuff in, like,
Just
mixed it around. I never had no appeal to see those ones,
Mm-hmm.
except the very first one was amazing,
Yeah.
and then I've heard that this one is really a homecoming, so to speak, right?
They clearly chose the title really well.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, and we'll jump to another topic here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You're just so prepared. I literally just
I
showed up.
am not prepared.
The only thing I did was go watch a movie. That was
That's
my
okay.
prep.
That was your prep. I only wanted you to do that. That's okay. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll
Yeah.
take care of the rest.
And then remembering Paul Mocklis's name.
Yeah, Paul Michaels is the name.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's freaking important. I think studying those types of people, you have to enjoy first you have to enjoy the experience of the film, but like also then turn it off and like meticulously, study it and see how it all was put together with the editor, with the producer, with the director. It's really interesting. I'll definitely buy the Blu-ray with extended commentary and stuff like that. That might be one of the best. I think it might be a really good commentary track. Those are really rare.
It's the movies that are pushing the envelope that are worth.
Oh yeah,
really-
totally.
I realized I need to actually go back and watch Rocky and
Yeah.
go through all the deleted
Rocky.
scenes, the director's cut, because it was weird. I'd watched Rocky very late in life, and everyone was talking about how great it is. And then when I watched it, I was just like, it's not that exciting, just because
Yeah.
all of the everything that was great about that movie was then used for the next 30 years.
Yeah, because everyone took it up. Everyone grabbed
Yeah.
from it.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it was also one of the first movies that actually used, what's it called now? Damn it. The stabilizer.
Oh, like the what you
Yeah.
call it, the slide or not the rig, that rig,
Yeah, that rig.
stabilizer, camera stabilizer rig.
It has a
thingy.
name. It has a proper name. We're
Yeah,
going to find
does.
it.
Oh, isn't it a steady
Steadicam.
Steadicam.
Yeah, it was one of the
Yeah,
first movies to ever use a
Steadicam.
Steadicam.
right.
Like the iconic scene is actually shot with a Steadicam.
Yeah,
and
the iconic. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. With a gigantic freaking camera on it. Yeah, it's a great film. Like that. Yeah, that film in itself is just Rocky, and it's amazing. And well, anyways,
Yeah.
worst and best experiences. What's your worst experience so far? Well, okay,
Yeah.
the age gap between us is about a decade. Let's just get that out of the way here. so far you're in the early stages of the editing world, and
I
right
am.
now it's in like the fast lane because everything's video now, right?
Yeah.
We're just like we're in it right now.
Yeah, for me, it's interesting just because like I just stepped into it. I didn't even think I would be into video editing. Like I did it as a hobby when I was in high school,
Yeah,
and
likewise,
then
yeah.
university also a hobby. But then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do this for a career now.
Yeah, do this for a career or one of your careers
Yeah.
because you know being in that creative world, it's like you have to do that and
Yeah.
something else and something else and something else. You have to know all your grips. You have to know all those types
Yeah.
of things. But it's a learning process,
It's
you know.
become the age of the shredder.
Yeah, totally. And it's like when you can be forced right into it. And like
Yeah.
you don't have to go to film school. I don't like saying that because I don't like ripping on film school because that's something completely.
Yeah,
in
I think
itself.
film school has its merits where
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
all about the contacts that you create,
Contacts,
which
yeah.
are invaluable
Yeah,
in this
totally.
field because that will give you a leg up.
Yeah, totally.
It's also very expensive to do that. So
It's a huge investment.
Yeah.
And investment on your time and your patience, but people do it and it's great.
Mm.
So yeah, and what was your worst experience so far? Because like, if you can
yeah,
say it,
if I can say it, it's one of those things. I think
or one of them, not.
I
the-
think it's just as a general tip, it's just my worst experience is always just when there's no kind of idea and you're just tossed. Hey, this is the footage we shot. This is the message that we kind of want,
right,
and then just make something out of it. That's always the challenge.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I've had those.
Yeah, and this is a thing. I like those challenges. They're fun just because it's a puzzle piece. That's how I look at every single edit that I do.
Nice.
But the problem I find is that sometimes people along the way, they don't want to see like the dirty work where it's just like, oh, I want to bounce ideas off of it. I think that's where I struggle where if I'm like, I don't know what you really want and I'm trying to make something that you're going to enjoy as well as I'm going to enjoy. And then if you don't realize it's a give and take where I'm going to throw you stuff and it's going to be bad to start just so we can narrow it down almost.
Yeah.
So that's kind of usually my worst experiences. It's just like when someone doesn't, like when they start to worry and panic that, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is going to be horrible. It's like, no, this is a creative process. It's going to take a little
Yeah.
time, especially when there was less like pre-production.
Totally. Yeah. When there's this pre-production and like
Yeah.
concept itself, like when concept isn't there.
Yeah.
You know, you have all the material, but imagine the material is conceptless almost in a way. So you're like, how do I figure
Yeah.
this out? And how does that person behind you, the producer or the company or whatever,
Yeah.
is going to dictate to you how to make stuff? It's like,
And then like on the complete opposite spectrum, my favorite projects are when something was properly storyboarded.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's the best.
You have a script that's like perfectly synced and you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And then you just put all that in.
you put it all in, done. Yeah.
Done, but then you can actually start to focus on like the creative aspects of like, oh, should I cut to this camera angle or like start to play around with like finicky things.
Likewise, yeah, that's the same thing for me. Like, those are the two odds. You know, that's the worst when you have no
Yeah.
concept, and then the best is when everything's pre-done. You're on either on a small team or big team, whatever. But the concept is done, given by whoever,
Yeah.
and it's just like all the pieces are there, and you just have to like kind of do the little creative
Yeah.
aspects, like you said, the little
The things that
touches
you're
on the
actually
top.
there
yeah,
to do as an editor.
because they cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've already done the rest.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
honestly, anyone can just cut. It's
Yeah.
not hard to learn. It takes
No, it's not
it can
hard to
take you a
learn.
day to learn how to just cut things.
Yeah, just to cut things, but timing and stuff like
Yeah.
that it's something that you have to have patience for and learn.
Yeah.
That doesn't take a day. That takes
Yeah.
years and years of figuring out. How can you cut without music? How can you cut
Yeah.
with music? How can you cut with special effects sounds? All those types of things. How do you cut with those things? How do you make the timing good? You know,
Yeah.
that's you can teach anyone to cut, but you have to teach them.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw this question back to you. What's
Yeah.
your worst experience been?
Oh my God, worst experience.
So I feel like you've been through the trenches. You've been in this for
through
a
a lot of
while.
bad stuff. A lot
I'm
of
still
bad
young,
stuff.
so I'm just
Yeah.
saying green
Been
things.
through a lot of bad stuff. I've seen things.
Can you talk about them? Are we
Yeah,
gonna be
most of
okay?
them- most of them I can talk
Do,
about.
do you talk about this with your psychiatrist or
No psychiatrist. Unfortunately, that's my weak point. I don't like psychiatrists
It's
at all.
okay. I'm kind of with you on that front.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to talk to someone that you're paying because then it
Yeah.
doesn't feel genuine.
Because they're just like saying they're a yes man. Well, I don't want to say that. I think they.
No, I think that, like, it depends on who you are.
Yeah,
and
it depends
depends.
on who
You
you are.
also have to be
Totally.
willing to accept the help.
Mm-hmm,
And if you're not, then it's not going to help you, unfortunately.
I can't say the project, but I remember when I did a project once that literally we finished everything. It was ready to go. Then the project was dropped, and we only got paid like 50%. Project was finished. They never put it out. They put it on the side, and like That was the worst. It was like 3 months of like editing and doing stuff. That was very early on. It was like semi. Oh, I don't want to say the company.
It's okay.
But it happens a lot. What I learned from it is that from other editors, like that happens a lot. Especially about 5 to 6 years ago, they were still like tinkering with things, like with ideas. Like marketers were tinkering with different ideas, and they were making commercials, and you would be competing against other people, which was really sucky because like you would have a project and you got it and you had this contract, but then you realize another person is doing the same thing as you in the same company, so they're basically pitting you against each other. Who's getting better, and you're only getting paid half. So it's like it was a bit weird back then. That was a really crappy gig. I don't want to say who it was, what company it was, but that was really bad.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because I felt like my worth was like cut in half, and that was not very good. But yeah, that and what else? That's why you should always read the contracts. I didn't read the contract, and I didn't know, and they didn't tell us. One thing I always want to tell people is always when you're communicating with companies is have everything written out.
Of course.
And you have to put in the contract that you are the only ones doing the project. Like you're the only exclusive creators that are doing this concept. If it's another concept, part of their campaign, that's cool. But if it's like literally verbatim the same type of script is giving back to them, I always ask for that now because they just throw you a curveball and they think that you don't know the ropes sometimes. And I'm just like, no, please, and just.
That is a very good tip. I'd never even thought about that.
Oh my gosh, it's
because it would seem redundant.
I know, but
if you're gonna hire creatives,
a lot of people they just like.
Why would you hire double? Like that's a waste of money.
I don't know if they do that as much now because I'm not in that world as much anymore. Of course. But whenever I do now, I always say that because I'm just like, please, we'll do the project. Yeah. That's it. Don't hire another like to compare. Like there are times for marketers to do that. Yeah. And there's times for marketers and those companies to. There's a point way before even production to do concepts and pitches. Like if you're in the pitch process, I always tell them if you're going to hire somebody else and it's in the words that we know that that's going to happen, like we'll give you a pitch, but we're not going to produce a single thing, and then you pay us on the pitch, and that's it. And then if our pitch is more powerful, then we'll produce you, but we're not going to produce our pitch and then another person's going to produce a pitch. Yeah. Choose a pitch, and then go with it because ad agencies they rely on that and they give pitches to people and to companies from other people and I've had a lot of stuff like that early on. Like I said, 5-6 years ago, it was rampant that a lot of little production companies would just be like, pitting against each other on the same campaign. It was really crazy. And now there are huge companies that market off of that crazy. Like there's huge companies like Tongo and all these other ones that are like huge agencies that pit against everybody. Yeah. Now they capitalize it so much. So that's why I don't like that model anymore. I'm like, direct with the company right away. And if I want to sell, and I sell pitches too, which is great. Like if I, of course, it's always good to communicate and give pitches to people, and then maybe that pitch we produce it, or maybe somebody else produces it, but I still get paid. Yeah, a lot of weird things, a lot of free gigs. Free gigs when you're doing it early. And I came from a music background, so I was already pretty angry about doing free gigs all the time.
Like how do you feel about spec work?
Spec work, my gosh. Well,
if we have the time for it.
If we have time for it, I don't know.
If not, we'll leave it to next time.
We'll leave it to next time because that's a good topic to talk about. That's like a whole episode.
There's a really good video that I'm already thinking about that explains my opinions.
We'll put it in the description of this video, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, and if anyone is watching, comment about what you think about that video.
Yeah.
And we'll have a back and forth.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Yeah. That's so smart. Yeah, and then so what would be the one tip that you would give to somebody who's just starting in video editing you're sitting down doing the Premiere Pro or doing the Final Cut? What makes things a little bit easier for you when you're doing the cut?
I think it's not taking yourself too seriously. Where you just throw something out. I was for example, today I was working on an edit that I'm doing for like a friend. He has a production company and he's doing behind the scenes video. And literally the direction, because he himself is in video, so he understands it's a creative process and the back and forth. That's what we're kind of working on. And I didn't know what to do at all. So I sent him a first cut a couple days back. Just like, I don't know if this is good, but it's just like a starting point just to start the conversation. And it's been good to go back and forth. It comes back to, once again, I've been very honest with him where the stuff like for the beginning, it's gonna be kind of bad just because I don't know because they're
Totally.
just vague. But we're just kind of working it out. So just don't be afraid of an edit when it seems scary. It just put it out there. Make some cuts.
Yeah, make some cuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And being humble about it, like you said, ego out the door when
Oh, yeah.
when you're an editor. Like it's just like ego
Because-
out the door,
yeah.
and like just trust your.
Because realize there's always a way to make it better.
Yeah, there's never a perfect cut. I find.
There
to be
can't
honest, to be honest, there isn't, because like I think there's different ways of making a perfect cut.
Look
I
at
think-
George
yeah.
Lucas. Like,
Yeah.
he took Star Wars and kept on trying to edit it out, and everyone got
Yeah.
mad. But in his
Everyone.
mind, that was making a perfect edit.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
imagine all the special editions, all
I
those
know.
types of things. What he was
Han
doing.
shot first.
Yeah, Han shot first. All those types
I
of
know.
things, like.
Had to put that down for the record.
Of course, every single
I
you
know.
have to say it. It's true.
I know.
But like, even him, when you think of that type of person, even Robert Zemeckis, all those types of people, and all the editors behind him, that they listen to, like the editors listen to them, like it's just a constant. Even something so perfect that we think is perfect. I mean, like Star Wars and all those things. They're still like hacking away at it. Imagine like there's just so much, and like there's so much business behind it as well, because
Of
you have to
course.
fit certain formats,
Yeah.
you have to fit the status quo of people's attention spans and psychology of that. Well, that's another podcast in
That
itself.
is-
The
yeah.
psychology of
Oh,
film
man.
making and the psychology of the actual film being produced. It's crazy how much work is put into
Yeah.
it.
The Ewoks.
Ewoks, Ewok psychology. Let's talk about that would be
Yeah.
something in itself. And I'll think of one of my tips is always I don't know. I think to make things faster I think keyboard shortcuts are one. I'm going to talk about technical thing. Like keyboard shortcuts
Yeah.
are amazing.
What's your
more
favorite?
and more.
What's your go-to keyboard shortcut?
keyboard shortcut is ripple delete. I change ripple delete from wherever it is, from delete key or something,
Yeah.
and I just change it to D all the time. Like ripple delete is now D, so I have C, V, and D just on my 3 fingers, and then it just makes things so much faster to cut around. And then what else is really good is that I think that's my big one that like changed my life when I started using that. That just makes things faster. Everything should be SSD all the way. Like even like because things are like getting really, really like processors are getting so not as fast anymore because now they're peaking. So now you need hard drives that can just catch up to 4K, catch up to 8K with reds and stuff like that, and like big footage, like big footage.
It's just gonna get worse too.
Yeah, it's just gonna get worse.
I feel like there's gonna be like 12K.
Yeah.
20K
oh, yeah.
cameras,
It's just gonna
just-
go crazy. Like, and our computers are not able to do it.
And the worst part, no one's gonna know the difference.
No, because everything is just downscaled to 1080 most of the time, especially now on our phones. Like even our phones are just like, it's nothing. Like everyone's watching stuff on smaller screens now. And you think everyone's got a big screen at home, like they do, but the mobile is outweighing.
It's
still
also the fact that a lot of streaming services weren't even doing 4K yet.
Not even like Netflix just got it maybe a year ago, the Ultra, and like it's a bit more expensive. But like, who's gonna watch? I don't know. I think it's redundant. Rooms are not even big enough. Living rooms are not even big enough to supply 4K to its proper dimensions. When you have a 4K over 40 inches, you have to have a room like this size, and you have to be like this screen right here behind us. You might not see it, but like this screen, you literally have to be at the end of the room to actually get the proper image, response. Because the closer you get, it's going to get worse. You have to have
The distance.
the distance, but nobody ever realizes that, and
Yeah.
they have a big screen in a small room, and that's most people.
Yeah.
So it's
They're just really good marketing.
it's
on the
super good
TV
marketing, but like
front.
imagine like computers right now are not fast enough. Like if
Yeah.
people want to do mobile editing, it's very tough with 4K. It's super.
You have
tough.
to have like top of the line.
top of the
rig.
line, the top of the line rig, and top of the line rigs are gigantic. They're thick.
Yeah.
They're like old desktops. They're like old laptops because they fit in two video cards, and the processor's just like hacking away, and it just burns up. Like you touch it, and the keyboard's like.
Yeah.
I've tried some really.
It's
big
interesting,
ones.
yeah, just because obviously the consumer front of computers are just all keep on getting smaller and smaller.
I know, right?
And they just have kind of ignored professionals.
Yeah.
In a very
of
big
course.
way.
Oh yeah, huge
I'd-
way.
I'd love to just have a giant ass laptop that can do everything.
Do everything, I know.
I
And you
need
have to
for a
hunt
desktop.
for it big time because
Yeah.
they don't put ads in it. They don't like those companies. You have to literally. It's such a niche market.
Yeah.
Like I know. I think there's like Gigabyte does one that's really good. And then and what's really sad is that the only way they do advertise is they advertise to gamers, right? That's the stereotype.
yeah.
It's
the
big
trick
gamer
to
PCs.
know.
Yeah, to know that they're big gamer PCs.
Yeah.
But really, they're also editing PCs.
Yeah, no,
you know?
like my desktop, which is a PC, I got because I could use it with the Vive. Because the
Right.
Macs still don't have VR capabilities. Well, they just got it, I think,
Did they?
recently.
Okay.
Someone can fact check me on that.
Yeah,
but-
totally, please.
Yeah, please do. We
Yeah.
like to get fact checked on
Yes,
the show.
Yes, that's right. The more fact checking, the better.
But that desktop runs so quickly.
Yeah, I can
It's
imagine.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, desktops, that's, a different story, right? If you
It
want to
is.
have something that's solid inside your
Yeah.
house or wherever.
But like that was also just a standard desktop almost. It was just was
Right.
that it had capabilities for VR.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then what else? Oh, and let's close the whole
Let's
entire
close
show
it.
with this.
Mm-hmm.
Closing segment. Okay, we'll just talk about drone tips.
Ooh, drone tips.
Considering my drone just collapsed,
Yeah.
and fell to its death.
Well, I
couple
just
days
had a
ago.
really safe landing on a boat.
Did you? Yeah, you had a safe
Yeah.
landing on a boat. That's really cool.
That was insane.
That's nice.
You can actually land and take off from your hand, which I've learned.
Yeah.
I would not recommend to people.
Yeah, for with the Mavic, you have a Mavic.
I have a
I used
Mavic.
to have a Pro. I used to have a Phantom Pro.
Yeah.
Sold it, but now I have the Spark, which I'm like totally happy with. Except now it's destroyed and being replaced. But yeah, like you can hand. It's very dangerous to do with the bigger drones, like especially with the Mavic. You can't do that with the Phantoms. That's impossible almost. But like with the other ones, the new ones now, you can do hand liftoffs but yeah, that's really daring from a boat. Yeah.
It was just, it had to get done.
Yeah, it had to get done.
It was just, there was no other way.
Yeah.
Takeoff was actually really smooth and easy just because of the momentum of the boat
right.
carried the Mavic very quickly and I could just launch it up high
Oh,
quickly.
so cool.
But landing, it took about a solid 3-5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
3 to 5,
gosh.
yeah. It was a struggle. We tried landing it in my hand, but then because with the boat moving, I couldn't also control it. We tried landing in someone else's hand, but then with the Mavic, it kind of fights if you don't actually land, but you actually try to grab it. So I had to land it on the side of the boat.
Oh my gosh.
It was scary. It was a couple inches away from falling in the water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's craziness.
So I don't know if this was a tip. This was just a story time of my stupidity.
No, well, no, it's not a tip. But I mean, like, what would be your one favorite type of shot to do? What's like the one that gets all the
Yeah.
clients happy? You know, like they're like,
I'm personally a fan of the wraparound shot where
wrap around.
yeah, where you actually
That's
of a
effective.
moving object, you actually wrap around it and keep it in
So
focus.
you active track it?
I've been doing it manually.
Oh, manual.
Yeah.
Oh, daring, man.
I know. I like the manual control. Not gonna lie. I don't know.
So
why.
do I. I like manual control as well too. I don't try to mess around with the gimbal a lot, but I just I like manipulating with the actual movement of the camera. Yeah. Active track I don't use as much. I use tripod mode a lot.
Yeah, I haven't really used active track at all.
Yeah, I used it once.
Yeah, I've just
for
enjoyed the
testing.
manual. It gets me what I want.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I would say just like my tip was like I don't know what the higher end drones except for Phantom 4 Pro, but
Yeah.
tripod mode is like your learning tool for so many different devices that we don't even need anymore.
Yeah.
Like we don't need gimbals, we don't need gigantic like arm gimbals with the camera on top. We don't need any of that. Cranes, we don't need any of those things anymore. Like to a certain extent, like these things get rid of all those things. Like I would be really interesting to see more films with big budgets, but they use these drones for specific shots.
I think there was a Canadian TV show that actually had a sequence where they had the drone do the drone shot, and then it would come land, and then an operator would actually grab it.
Yeah, DJI
and
did something like that too as well. I don't know if it was Canadian thing, but that was their big pitch with the Inspire 2.
Which is nuts.
Just seamless.
Yeah.
They grabbed it.
Perfect.
And, guy had a big helmet on his face because of the propellers, and they turned it off while he picked it up. Seamless. Yeah, more creative things with the drones. I feel like it's just like the one thing I would say at the end of this is just like it's not even close to what people can do with the creativity of the drones.
It's not, but I'm also afraid to say that because I think a lot of people are leaning on the footage and not really thinking about how does this impact the storytelling.
Right, of course.
Because it's one of those things. They're pretty shots because they're completely different. So that's what. It's, for example, I love when I shoot with a wide angle lens because it's a different perspective. It's something a human eye cannot see. But you need to think about how it's impacting the story.
Exactly. So so that's the end of the show today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And
it was our pleasure to do this. And we're going to be trying to do this more often.
Yeah, we're going to try to do this maybe every 2 weeks or so, maybe at least once a month, but we're going to try to do more of them in different spots too. I was thinking that we could possibly do it at another place next time. You know, just down the street, there's like La Flaca.
Yeah.
Or no, I think it's
No,
La
La
Flaca.
Finca.
La Finca.
That's a
Oh,
really great spot.
nice
That's
spot.
a beautiful spot.
Oh,
Sure.
and the owners are amazing, and it's a really nice spot, and they're super nice, and like,
Yeah.
why not? We could
They also have
probably do
spaces.
there. Yeah, they have space. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. We can do it there. So, if you have any, go.
If you have any ideas of what we should talk about,
Totally topics.
let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, put it down in the description below. We're
Like
gonna
even
get
though
going.
the working title is
two guys
that edit,
that edit, yeah.
we kind of like to think that we do more and
More than that, but that's what it's all about. It's all the in between of editing and all those types of things. It's just the starting point.
Yeah.
And tell us your stories about some of the things we were discussing, and down in the description below. And there's no sponsor, so we'll talk to you guys next time.
See it then.